Welcome to my presentation for APFR, the absolute point of focusing technology I've shown in several other videos. For this special video I want to show something about the solar imaging processing special for the solar eclipse, and I will show two examples from images how to work with the corona and the detail of the surface, and I hope you like it. And if you want, you can give us a feedback, and if you're interested in about more information about workshops for APFR, so you can join our newsletter. It's based on the SEDIC website. It's www.sedic.at. Have a closer look. I hope you like it. Thank you.
And here we go. First of all, I want to show you some details about the steppings and the first steps with APFR. So the best way is that you start here at the web page of the SEDIC conference, and you have here the address sedic.at/APFR. And APFR, you get here all the description about the steppings and what's very important if you like to produce your own APFR with your images. And especially here you have a button videos. Go here down, and it's the introduction first of all, and then APFR basic. This video shows especially the starting point, how to work with APFR, and give some information and details about the processing. Then some other videos you can see here, and what also is this here, it's the moon and the sun spot and a solar moon eclipse. It's not multiplied by 2. This means it is a bit different to create the APFR, especially if you have not the best seeing, because the day is hot and the sun of course is shining, and so you have a lot of turbulence in the air. So maybe you have to think about a little bit different about APFR. And this is the idea, that you maybe start at this here, and I go here just a little bit back to our APFR website. You can go here, and if you want to have more information, you have here a newsletter option that you can get in touch with all other information about the SEDIC conference and the next conference and what we're doing and so on. So this is for the beginning. I want to show you now my bridge, and here we are at my bridge. So I'm working again on my Wacom Mobile Studio Pro, and before I go deeper into the steppings for here the sun image, you can see here. So let me explain a little bit more about my APFR. And yes, this is a moon image I took some weeks ago with a small mirrorless compact digital camera, an Icon 1. And this is not stacked images, so not every area is stacked and combined to a master image and then making this panel. Now these are sub images, images by images, area by area. So I took every area and then combined it to one, and after this I do my APFR processing to this file. So you can look here. And when it's interesting, you can see there are a lot of details. It's a single image. Every area is a single image, so it's very interesting. And you can have a closer look here. Also at the south of the moon, there are a lot of information, a lot of details everywhere. So this is interesting. And also here my line, you can see my hardware, and here's also again APFR was used for this sharpening. So another image a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we have been to La Palma, and this is the image I took there. This is a very famous region at the south of the hemisphere. It's Antares here, the bright star is here is Antares, and M4, a globular cluster, and a very nebulosity, and a very lot of nebula in this area. They're very famous. And this is also the Nebel has a lot of less structure, and so I use APFR to bring out in these wide areas a lot of different contrast, and I used here also APFR to finish this image here. So that's interesting, and should also explain this is comparable to the outer areas of the corona of the next coming solar eclipse of the corona is also a less weak structure, and APFR is a possibility to show here structure. And this is another point that I start 2006 some images, a very small one, to make it a little bit bigger. Just a second, and yeah, this is a small one. It was a starting point with my HDR and my sharpening ideas. So it was not perfect, but it was a good stepping into this direction. I hope this year the solar eclipse and the corona will be fantastic. So this is the point that I go into, to move into my Photoshop. Here is the image again, so I can go a little bit deeper. I can zoom a little bit in. You can see here a lot of very thin structures or very weak structures, and you can see now as a contrast between also here in this area. So it's very interesting. I think it's a good solution for this solar eclipse. And that's back to my solar image. This is the surface with astrosolar filter at the front of the optics. It's a C14 edge and an Nikon 810A with close to 4 meter focal length. And this is my prepared APFR layer, and I'm starting here with 0.9. This is explained more precise at the video Sun and Moon at the website of the SETIC website, and then the APFR section. You can see a little bit more why I'm starting here with a smaller pixel value. So let me zoom in, and this here is now the surface of the sun of the single image. And when I now go here to the details, you can see the sunspot, umbra, penumbra, and all small tiny sunspot, a little bit of the surface of the sun. So this image was taken at the afternoon. The temperature was about 27, 29 degrees, and it was ground wind at my location, and so I know the seeing at the ground is not so good, and so this is one of the best single frames I took. And what I do now, I start with my APFR. So 0.9, 1.8, so I activate now every layer of my APFR. So it's a little bit showing more details. You can see a better structure of the details and everything. So I explained this at the basic video. So if you want to understand how to build this layer and the functionality and what's the benefit of APFR, please have a detailed look at this video. Then you know exactly why I'm building this layer, why I'm choosing these values. After this, I go to the next one. This is here now my median combined master sharpening layer. And then I copy this layer 2 times. I go here to the first one, I activate it. But here's the difference, the stable mode is maximum. So, you know, if you go to the layers, smart objects, stable mode, you have here maximum, medium, and minimum. And I choose here maximum for the structure, minimum for the next layer. So this have not so big changing. You can see it's getting a little bit more details and no problems at the edges. So what I do now, I change something. Turn off here. I go here and set now I change from soft light into hard light. And I've done this. I go to my keyboard, hit the Alt key and go between the layers and make a mixture and go here and set here Alt key first time. And then I go to the next layer, activate again here, changing from soft light into hard light. Oh, wrong, hard light, this here. And then again, make a mask, clipping, and go here and said, okay, make here this mask. So to this one. So this is my preferred step, what I want to have here. So you can also go here and maybe change here to make it more contrastive. So you can really do a lot of different things with the stepping here. What I do now, I select all my sharpening layers. And now, after I've selected all my layers, I go to the next step of my APFR sharpening idea. So what I do now is the XTE version. And XTE means that I combined the previous 3 sharpening layer to one smart filter again. I get it to 1. And after this, I choose my blending mode. I go here, layer, smart object, stable mode, my blending mode. I choose median for the combining of all 3 previous sharpening layers. And if this is done, I can go back here again. I can show you. So this is now my sharpened sunspot, and I use here smart filters again, and this is for me optimizing the information. So what I can do now here is that I use my camera raw filter. Camera raw filter is especially for the highlights, the shadows, the contrast, the saturation. So I optimize the saturation with this filter setup. So this is my preview. I change a little bit of the exposure, give it a little bit more contrast. I can go here to maybe to remove dust. So it's a lot of possibilities to do here with the camera raw plugin. Say okay, so calculate this one, and the other one is the highlight shadow function. Highlight shadow function gives a better contrast between the brighter center of the sun and the edge. And so I go here, image, correction, highlight shadows, and you can turn this into the smart filter panel. And if I say okay, turn off, this is now without my smart filter, and this is turning on is with my smart filter. I just do here camera raw filter and highlight shadows. I think this is a nice idea, and this is also the situation of the solar eclipse. You have the surface with maybe sunspots and some other very interesting details. You can bring this out with APFR, and if you have taken a corona and you have there a lot of details, so I suggest really to take this as HDR image. I hope you do this. Have the huge dynamic range is better controlled with HDR images. And then it's the same situation that this here is this nebula area. To do this is the pixel scale very preferred, about 30 to 50 pixel. You get a very, very wide and calm and weak structures out of the image, and that's very, very beautiful. And I hope, and it's interesting, it's the best way, I think, of sharpening an image, and especially for this solar eclipse. And going back again to my bridge, so I can show you I'm working here on my Wacom Studio Mobile Studio Pro. I'm doing this also at La Palma. It was early in the morning, checking the data of the last night, having a cup of coffee. So that's very interesting, and if I thank you for Wacom to do this wonderful piece of technology. I like this very much, and I hope you like my short introduction and short ideas. So if you're interested in more information, please visit the SEDIC website and join our newsletter, and you will be updated about all things that are happening at the conference and maybe some new ideas for image adding. Thank you.